Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to the channel. Look who's back! So, this is our first YouTube video for 2025. As some of you have seen or may have heard, or if I talk to you personally, I've decided that I will still be doing the podcast. I just don't know how much and when. You will definitely see me in a podcast still, on some of my favorite podcasts, like, of course, Hair Down Friday. So definitely I'm going to return to the podcast scene. Just don't know in what aspect yet, what I want to do. Do I even want to keep it reptile related? Because I do feel like there's a lot of reptile related podcasts now. When I started this, it was not. It was very few in between. Now, everybody has a podcast, and I get bored with oversaturated information. But throughout this time, people have asked me so much to do videos again. So here you go, in 2025, whether I'm doing the podcast or not, I will do videos. So today's topic, I started off with a question I get a lot, a question I was asked even as recently as a couple days ago. Do you prefer male or female reticulated pythons? I do have a preference, but I'm gonna tell you why. And it's not a preference on behavior at all, honestly, for me. My preference has nothing to do with personality traits. So let me just explain a couple differences that you would see between a male and a female. And it's probably one of the most major things that people avoid males for, and that's breeding season. In breeding season, your male will become a little bit more agitated. Your male will definitely want to be out surfing and moving more. So he wants to be out of his enclosure more. And he's going to do a lot of arching. So what? You know it, right? So because I know it, because I experience it, and because I actually love it, like I feel like I helped them through that process. So if I have a male that I don't intend to breed, who I know is going through his cycle of wanting to breed, I am very, very attentive to him. I touch him more. Even when he's arching, I let him arch on me, you know, around my lower part of my body, wrapped around my waist. I have no problem with that. I'm constantly rubbing, and I've noticed that rubbing that male who wants to breed helps him with that agitation. So that's what I do. You'll still see me handle them. They're still out all the time. I treat them no differently in breeding cycle. The only difference that I do make sure that I'm conscious of is that I don't allow males to be left alone together, especially two adult males left alone together, because they can become combative with each other in breeding cycles. So that's something that's a real thing. It doesn't happen here where they actually fight. I never had one injure each other, but I have to say that I have seen two males kind of like give each other a bump in the eye. You okay? So we don't want it to go no further than that. So that's one of the things that you have to look out for. But when it comes down to it, my favorite is a male. And I just think it has something to do with me being a female, and I feel like all my life I connected better with males than I do with females. It's just what it is with me. So I think that when I look at the relationships as with my son with the females, I think it's very opposite for him. He's very much into the females, and the females are very much into him as well. But for me, personality difference, I would say females to me can tend to be a little bit more moody, and that's just a reality. But not moody in a way that they're dangerous or that you can't handle them or anything like that. It's just a little bit more moody. So when you go in the cage, you might get a bump every now and then from a female, where my males typically don't bump at all. In fact, my males are the ones that probably, once I open the door, they're coming out right away more than not anytime. So for me, keeping it brief and keeping it simple. All 2025, these videos going to be brief and simple. So for me, my preference is a male reticulated python. My suggestion is, if you start with a male, that you just be very, very much hands-on with him as a baby. I only recommend you get males as a baby because I do believe that in order for you to have that relationship with them during the breeding cycle, it's a built relationship of security and safety. that you build with them that makes them to be non-reactive to you during those times. And I was asked, do I notice a difference with my son? No, the males are the same with him. Very generous, very kind. Like I said, even if they agitated, Michael can calm them down as well by holding them, touching them. They love that touch. They love that feel. I truly believe the arch is a way of them showing that hormonal drive to want to be intimate, but touch is intimate for everybody. And I think that when you put that touch on them, even though they're not getting the poonie, they still calm down. So if you ask me, I am preferring males if you have a choice. I prefer both, but if you have to make a choice of what your first one is going to be, I prefer a male. A male may not be for you. You may find that when it gets to that age of breeding cycle, that the arching is intimidating to you. The agitation that they normally don't have may be intimidating to you. It's going to be all on a case-by-case, person-by-person decision. But when I'm asked what is mine, there you have it. I prefer a male reticulated python all day. See y'all soon.